What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris, man. I'm here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Wednesday, January 17th, 2024. I am a sports reporter, casino host, sports broadcaster, and I'm also proprietor of this podcast of Work Hard, Play Harder, where I like to bring on guests to talk about their why and get to know them beyond their occupation. Next guest that I will have on here, her name is Cassie Wilson. She is a freelance writer who has been doing it for almost 7 years. She's also a Spanish teacher as well. She went to Emory and Henry College and also got a master's at Liberty University. I'm going to talk to her about her why and to why she wanted to go into the writing route. What are some of the pieces that she's written about that she admires the most? And get to know her a little bit outside of her occupation of being a Spanish teacher. She did get her bachelor's in environmental science, so I definitely am intrigued to know about that as well. So without any further ado, I bring to you the lovely Cassie Wilson. Hello there. How we doing, Cassie?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. It's lovely to see your face. I just want to say good afternoon and welcome to the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. I really do appreciate your time.
Yeah,
Um,
for having me.
no doubt, no doubt. I also want to ask you, how's your week going so far?
Um, it's cold. But so far it's fine. It's just cold.
Well, I'll tell you, in Minnesota, it was -7 degrees yesterday.
Wow.
I definitely understand what you're talking about when it was cold. Didn't even want to go outside to take the trash, but I knew I had to. But it was definitely cold outside for sure.
I think it's finally warmed up to 10 here, but still. Just knowing it's cold makes me cold.
Right? Tell me about it. Before I start peppering you with questions, I want to let you know why I wanted to have you on here in the first place, or reiterate to you why I wanted to have you on here. Um, you are a freelance writer, and I
Mhm.
would love to know what went into that decision of what you write, what you write about, what some of your favorite pieces, and we'll get into that. I know you're also a Spanish teacher as well, and you've been there for several years as well. I know you went to Emory and Henry College. I also know you got I believe a master's in at Liberty University, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but I wanted to bring you on here because I'm a writer too. I'm a sports writer, and I love writing stories. I love covering games. I cover high schools and college and a college, I should say. So writer to writer, I love talking to different writers and hearing their perspective of how they come up with the creative stuff that they come up with to write. So it was a no brainer to have you on for sure. So once again, I do appreciate your time.
Yeah, look at you doing all of your research.
I try to do that. I try before I come on. There's different kind of guests I like to have on here. Most of them have been writers and journalists because that's likewise to what I do. But at other times, there's been other genres as well and other occupations. So I do like to do a little bit of research. And with that being said, I always start off this question with my podcast of why. Why do you do what you do? What made you want to start writing? And then two, did you have any role models growing up? Any kind of people that inspired you to write?
Um, so inspiration to write, my mom likes to say that she taught us how to write. She because in third grade when like the cat ran across the yard, she
Right.
well, what's the cat doing? How's it getting there? Like she was always the one that would encourage us to do that. But as a kid, I just moved to a new house, I don't know, in September. And you know how you keep all your stuff from when you were little? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that did that.
Sure, sure.
I was going through a box of things and I found like new scripts that my sisters and I wrote. And I remember as a kid, I made like a cardboard computer and stuck it to the wall and pretended I was a newspaper reporter. So I wasn't, you know, that was, I guess, writing and journaling and journalism was kind of like always something I was interested in, but didn't really consider as an occupation. Because I did graduate from Emory, like you mentioned, but bachelor's degree is in environmental science.
Right.
So the plan, I wanted to work on a river all day just outside. That is
Mm.
not what happened, and I ended up in an office. um, Office work in that particular office was not for me for just various different reasons, but
Sure.
there was a lot of downtime in that particular role that I was doing, and I discovered freelance writing as like a career option then. I didn't pursue it like full time because I was almost 26. I was still in my parents' insurance, and the thought of having to purchase my own insurance on something like that was that's expensive. So I started, looking into other options. I did freelance a little then. That was like 2017, I guess. Um, and then I minored in Spanish. And so when my district had a Spanish teacher position opened, I thought, well, maybe that might be something I'd like to do. So I applied, was hired on the spot because Spanish is one of those fields where you can't find certified teachers. So when I was hired, I started in the education program there at Liberty, quit freelancing because teaching and taking classes at the same time left like no time for anything else.
Right.
And so I picked freelancing back up in like the spring of 2022, I guess, and started seriously doing that part time. The plan was not to leave the classroom. Like I thought that was going to be the thing I did until I retired. Um, but the pandemic hit and
Right.
things inside the classroom changed significantly. I don't know if you've heard other teachers like talk about that or
Yes.
what, but things changed and they changed quick, and it kind of got to the point where I was just really burnt out. In September of this year, I fractured my hip. I did that in July. I was training for a half marathon, and so going through all the tests to make sure it was actually a fracture. And then when the surgeon told me you're gonna have to have surgery, like I wasn't upset about it because
Right.
I knew that was gonna give me like 8 weeks to recover from the start of the school year. And if that is not a giant indicator that someone is burnt out in their position, like I don't know what else is. So I started um, freelancing more during that recovery time because I had nothing else to do but sit on the recliner and just recover. Um,
Sure.
and then I decided that, hey, I like this better and it better aligns with what I wanted to do as a kid anyway. So last week, let me look at my calendar. Yeah, a week ago was my last day in the classroom. So
Wow. Okay.
freelancing full time.
No, I appreciate that update.
Yeah.
Once again, talking with Cassie Wilson, freelance writer on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. I appreciate that update. I really do, and I also appreciate your candidness as well. I ran a half. I only want to say half marathon. I just ran a 5K. That was 3.2 miles, and I was already burnt. I was tired. I was looking to go to the nearest store and buy something because I was gassed, and running 3.2 miles. I was like, Lord, now training for a marathon is something else, but
Yeah.
fracturing your hip, ooh, I
Yeah.
mean,
Like, and I told the story, I was literally on my treadmill. I was following a training plan. I was running 5 miles that day, and on mile 4, I took a deep breath and my hip popped. I mean, that was it. So I thought for a while it was just like, my hip flexor. No, I fractured it like an old lady.
oh, well, listen, when is the marathon, by the way?
It was supposed to be in September. It was September 24th. Of course,
Oh,
I didn't run it, so September 26th is when I had surgery. So I
okay. Have you applied for any more?
They deferred, like the people that run that particular half deferred my registration to this year, so I'm planning to run it this year.
Okay. Now, Where is this marathon located?
It's in Johnson City, Tennessee. Johnson City or Kingsport. It's one of those.
Okay. So I know I looked at your profile and it said you were in VA. Are you in Tennessee now?
No, I live in Virginia, like right on the Virginia-Tennessee line. So
Okay.
if you know where Bristol Motor Speedway is, I'm like 45 minutes from there.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I transplanted from Atlanta, Georgia, so I'm very familiar with the Tennessee area. Definitely Nashville more than anything, for sure. But yes, the mountains of Tennessee is beautiful. I can go all day long about Tennessee. I really do love it out there. I want to ask you about going to Emory and Henry College. That choice. Were there any other colleges that could have persuaded you to go there?
Yeah, there were a couple other ones that I were looking at locally. Emory and Henry was only like 10 minutes from where I lived, so it made sense to go there so I could commute and save money and not have to,
Sure.
room and board there. But I really liked the campus and the professors were great. It's just it was just the local choice.
Feel that. No, it sounds like and people make college choices all different reasons. Yours was convenience,
Yeah.
clearly, which was great, and that's awesome. I went to Kennesaw State University, and I went to a state school because we all know that private schools cost a lot of money. So once again, me was financially, it just made sense to kind
Mhm.
of go to state school. Me being here in Atlanta, again, convenient, and it's only 30. It was only at that time 30 minutes away from me. So I totally understand that. Cassie, I want to ask you some favorite things. Okay. And based upon these questions, you just give me the 411 on some of your favorite things that you like. Are you with me?
Sure, but I am the most indecisive person on the planet. So
I
that said,
appreciate that disclaimer. I really do. I appreciate that disclaimer. I really do. But listen, this is going to be fun. Okay. I'm going to ask you first question, favorite meal you like to cook?
oh, okay. So lately I've been like on the health kick, and I don't even know what you call it, but it's kind of like a stew, kind of not a stew. It's like beef tips and carrots and celery and onions and peppers, and you just mix it all in the
Mm.
Dutch oven. It's delicious. I don't have a name for it. I don't follow recipes. I just dump it in the pot.
No, that's okay. Whatever you just described is very good. Of course, I probably would make it pretty bad because if I have stew, I gotta have like a biscuit or something, some kind of bread with it. That's just me.
Well,
But
I'm also gluten free, so not by choice.
oh, okay,
So
that's
there's
cool.
yeah, no bread for me.
I know that's right. Okay, that's cool. That's awesome. But that stew is sounds delicious. Okay, favorite concert you've ever attended?
I am not a concert goer.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't go to concerts. There is I don't know, I'm not a big fan of crowds, so I don't go to those.
No, that's okay. That's all right. Maybe what is your favorite style of music? How about that?
Um, that is a good question. It kind of just depends on the day. If I'm driving in my car, I'll listen to country music mostly. There's one particular station that's got the best, they say it's the best of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, but it's really just Maroon 5 over and over. So sometimes I'll listen to that, but mostly just country music.
Okay, I dig that. I like that. Favorite place you ever traveled to?
Ooh, that is a good one. This past summer, I work with Upward Bound. I don't know if you've heard of that program. It's like a
Oh yeah,
college.
absolutely.
This summer we went to West Virginia.
Okay,
I cannot tell you the name of the town off the top of my head, but it was like a little wilderness resort, I guess. Um, I really liked that. That was a lot of fun. That might have been my favorite place. But town or city wise, I really like Savannah.
okay, all right. Did you ever go to Tybee Island?
We did when we visited. We went to Tybee. Yeah, I think the neatest part about Savannah was the drive. Like it wasn't a drive-through walk McDonald's. You walked through it, and I think that was just fascinating because there's here nothing. Like you have to drive wherever you go.
Right, I know exactly what you're talking about. I went to that same McDonald's. I was bewildered. I was like, "What am I looking at? This is something different." I was like, "Wow." Absolutely. Okay. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV, and favorite sport you like to attend in person.
Okay, in person, I like hockey. My boyfriend is a huge fan of the Capitals, and so we go to the local hockey games here. The locals are more into fighting each other. So, so I like that. But to watch on TV, I really like college football. I'll watch NFL, but I like college better.
Okay, you got a favorite team?
See, no. I don't know how people pick a favorite team. Like, I just like to watch and make sure everyone has fun.
Like that. We have fans like that. That's totally awesome. I love that. The last of the favorites is favorite restaurant to eat at.
Um, okay, so being gluten-free, there's like three things I can get from any particular restaurant: steak, grilled chicken, or a salad.
Sure.
That's pretty much it. But we just got Texas Roadhouse maybe a year ago, so that's
Mm,
my favorite place to go get a steak.
mm. Oh yes. Texas Roadhouse is my favorite restaurant. A
Yeah.
close second is Longhorn Steakhouse.
Yeah, that one's pretty good too.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
Are
Can't
you
go wrong with good steak.
are you a huge steak fan? Like,
Yeah. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Sirloin, ribeye, porterhouse, it don't matter. Steak.
Regular, how do you do it?
Medium rare. Yeah,
Yeah.
it got to be bleeding a little bit. I can't have it well done because well done means I gotta sauce it up. I gotta put too much sauce on it. But if
The
it's medium rare, you don't need no sauce on it and cook right, I should say.
That's what I tell my mom, and she's like, "No, it's just raw." I was like, "No, I'm
That's
not
not raw.
doing it."
No. Not to disagree with moms, but no, it's not raw. I'm with you. I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah,
No doubt.
no, I disagree with her a lot on that one.
I know that's right. That's what's up. Let's talk about what you write about. Maybe some of the pieces that you want to talk about, some of your favorite pieces that you've written about as your freelance time. And also talk about your impact as a Spanish teacher and how that's kind of helped you as far as maybe your writing goes.
Um, okay, so there's a couple different things I want to hit on with that. Let me start with the impact of teaching on writing. Did you take any foreign language classes either in college or high school?
I sure did. Yes.
How was the language taught to you? Was it mostly like grammar instruction or
It was a lot of grammar instruction. I took Spanish.
Mhm.
We had to take Spanish 1 and 2 in high school, and then I retook college Spanish in college. So it was definitely grammar based. Definitely, short sentences, writing those. We had a presentation at the end of the year in both of those classes where we had to present something in Spanish. So it was basic, but it was mainly grammar stuff.
focus? Yeah. So one of the biggest pushes in language instruction classes is to teach with this method called comprehensible input. And if there are other Spanish teachers listening, Stephen Krashen is the one to go to for this. And instead of doing like explicit grammar instruction, like how to conjugate a verb and the different verb endings, um, comprehensible input focuses more on using vocabulary that you'd use in daily language. So think about how you learned your first language, like someone read to you or someone sung to you, or you watched, silly little videos that were repetitive. How I taught Spanish to my students was kind of similar to the same way. So we would have silly stories that focused on the vocabulary, and it would be like, Jimmy runs to school, Jimmy opens the door, then he runs to class, like just repeats over and over. So I got really good at telling stories. Like there's nothing more satisfying than knowing that you've got your kids hooked on the story and they're listening to it in a different language. But I say that to say that storytelling also kind of carries over into how I write things. So that's, you know, a lot of different companies I've seen with advertisements, either a full-time writer position or just a freelance, hey, we want a storyteller. So I'm convinced that my time teaching Spanish using stories has help make me a better writer doing that. Favorite pieces though. I don't know that I have a favorite. Again, I don't pick favorite anythings, but recently I did a piece for HubSpot, and I think the title of it is like losing customers, find out why. And it was about sales. But that was really the first piece that I got to actually interview people for this particular piece. And one of the people that I called gave me like great life advice and great business advice too while answering the question. And so I really enjoyed doing that.
Okay. Is there a particular genre that you write about or mainly write about?
Um, I want to say no.
Okay.
However, it seems like I've gotten into more like marketing tech. So I do a lot of content for marketing tech companies. It seems like I'm doing tons of pieces about AI, because AI is a hot topic these days. So
It is. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, that's awesome. Let's talk about mental health because I know you mentioned before that you kind of got burnt out with teaching. And let's talk about how do you maintain your good mental health. For me, I like to work out, write poetry,
Mhm.
some call my mom, my dad, just talk to family in general sometimes, right? When you're having those kind of days. Mental health is definitely more important now than it's ever been. And now as writers, sometimes we get writer's block. Sometimes we just have those kind of days where we just cannot be creative. How do you maintain your good mental health, but also keep that good work-life balance as well? Because it seems like you're a very I would say personable person that loves to have a good time, but also is about her business too.
Yeah, so I have a therapist. I see her once a week.
Okay.
Um, she is all the time asking, like, what are you doing for yourself? I was not a person that put mental health at the top of the list until about 2 years ago, I guess.
Okay.
Um, and she would tell me a lot, just exercise is really good to get some of the stress out. You hear that all the time. Like people tell you on TV, mental health, move, it helps your body, it helps your mind.
Right.
I don't think I believed that until I started like working out seriously back in January of last year. And I tell people all the time now, like I don't work out to lose weight or whatever. I really work out for my mental health. And
Sure.
so when I was, recovering from my hip, like I could just tell, like if I don't get back on my treadmill or my spin bike soon, I'm gonna lose it. Like moving my body has been so helpful on maintaining like anxiety and stress levels.
Absolutely. And I love I love asking, sorry, that question because you get many different answers for one, which is great. Some intrigue me for what think people do, and I'm like, oh, I might want to try that. But two, most importantly, I appreciate the candidness of people. There's a lot of people on here that I've had on this platform that says they do talk to therapists, they
Mhm.
do go into sessions, they do need help, and some people feel embarrassed by that. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't feel embarrassed by going to talk to somebody because we all need help in
Yeah.
certain kind of ways. So I'm just glad that you're able to open up with the candidness of it. I appreciate that, and that was a great answer. It really was.
Yeah, she gets her money's worth. Like she earns her paycheck.
No doubt. I love that. I love that. Now, Cassie, we're to the portion of this or that of this show. So basically what I do is I throw two things out at you. You choose one or the other, based upon what I throw out. This or that. Are you wet? Sorry, are
Super
you ready?
indecisive, but let's go.
All right, let's get it. Okay, so I wanna give this first one has to do with chicken. Do you eat chicken?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Popeyes or KFC?
Neither? Can I pick neither?
Oh my goodness.
And
And, and
I say that because gluten free, they don't have like I can't go to either one of those. So
okay, what okay. Let's do this. Maybe you might be a Chick-fil-A person. I'm not sure if they have Chick-fil-A down there. I'm not sure.
they do.
Okay, you might be that. All right, let's do this. Gluten-free chicken wings, if you could eat this, which flavor chicken wings would you rather eat? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Barbecue, absolutely.
Okay. Are you a bone-in or boneless?
Boneless, which is really just chicken nuggets, but boneless.
Hey, Cassie, we can be friends now. Now you've confirmed it. If you would have chose bone-in, the interview would have been over. It just would have. But that's cool. Boneless is good. We're good. We're on the same page. All right. These next three have to do with music.
Okay.
Okay. Which person would you rather listen to since you don't say you don't do concerts?
Mhm.
Luke Combs or Morgan Wallen?
Oh, Luke Combs, hands down.
Okay. I like that. Which person would you rather listen to? Casey Musgraves or Carrie Underwood?
That one's hard. I think I would take Casey Musgraves over Carrie Underwood.
Wow, you are definitely in the minority on that one. Okay, all right. I like it though. I like it. That's what's up. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Badminton for sure.
Are you not a good bowler?
No, no. Um, yeah, no, the last time was pretty horrific when I went when I went bowling. It was pretty bad. But my sisters and I used to play badminton a lot when we were kids. I was pretty good at it, so
Okay. I like that. I like that. Okay. Let's do this. Which city in Tennessee would you rather visit? Knoxville or Nashville?
um I think Nashville just because it's a little farther away and so it feels more like a trip. Knoxville's like 2 hours, so I mean that could be a day trip if I wanted.
That is true. That is true. Very much so. I like that. Okay. This one has to do with sports again. Which sport would you rather watch on TV if you had to choose one? Basketball or baseball?
Ooh, baseball.
Okay, I like that. I like that. This one has to do with desserts. Now, you only can choose, you have to choose one of these to eliminate for the rest of your life. Or do you like desserts?
I do love desserts.
All right, here we go. I'm going to give you the four. A, pies. B, cakes of any kind. Cupcakes, bundt cakes, don't matter. Just cake. C, ice cream. D, honey buns. Which one are you eliminating for good?
Oh, honey buns.
Okay. Okay, that hurts my heart though, Cassie. That does.
But technically, honey buns are kind of a cake. So
Kind
you
of, kind
kind
of,
of put them in the cake category and be fine.
kind of. You right. You absolutely right. But man, honey buns, you put them in a microwave and they make a difference. I'm telling you that. They taste so good. No question. But I like that. I like your answer for sure. We got two more of the this or that. Which sport would you rather watch? Would you rather watch college basketball or college baseball?
College basketball. I love baseball, but TV wise, I think I would rather watch college basketball.
Okay. Last of the this or that. And this one has to also do with music. Okay. Which group would you rather listen to? Zach Brown Band or Lady A?
Ooh. Hmm. I
That's a good
think
one, isn't it? I know it is.
uh, I think I'm gonna go with the Zach Brown band though.
Okay. Are you sure? You was pretty reluctant on that answer. You sure?
I think so, yeah.
You know, for a person that's really indecisive, you was pretty decisive on this or that. I like that.
It's because I knew I had to be. I knew if I don't know, it was not an appropriate answer.
I love that. I love it. But I love that you did that. So that's awesome. If Cassie wasn't in writing or Spanish teaching, like you did before, what career would you have pursued and why?
Um, I don't know. I truly don't know. I worked retail back when I was in college, and I know there's so many different opinions about retail, but I loved that. And I think I loved it because it was different people every day. So if I
Mhm.
could find, like, if I had to do it over again and find something that would put me somewhere where I'm seeing new faces every day, and I have no idea what that would be. No idea. I'm like, medical field is not for me, so that is not a thing. Um, but I don't know. I truly don't know what else I would do.
Now, what retail store did you work at?
I worked at Lowe's.
Okay, okay. Was you like a cashier
Yeah, they
or?
did. I started out as a cashier and then they kind of threw me on the customer service desk one day, like no training, like here it is. Um, and that's fine. I'm pretty good at, working under pressure. But I just love that. It was carefree kind of. Um, I love that. It was probably my
Oh,
favorite job I've ever had.
that's pretty cool. Yes, and you do see some familiar, do see some different faces, I should say. Uh, in these retail stores, but you also see some familiar faces that you enjoy seeing as well.
Yeah, there's still, and that was, gosh, 10, 12 years ago. There's still people I see out all the time, like, oh, hey, I saw them at Lowe's when I worked there.
Right. Absolutely. That's pretty dope. Let's get to advice. What advice would you give someone that wants to pursue writing, whether freelance or writing for a publication or anything that you would give to another person? And what advice has someone gave you that you hold on dearly to, not only about freelance writing, but maybe in your life?
Um, this is gonna sound, this is gonna sound silly, I'm sure.
Hmm.
But I started working with, it was a virtual personal training company, I guess, back
Okay.
in January. And so, you know, when you're working out with a trainer and they're like, oh, you can do it, you can do hard things. Um, 20 more seconds, one more rep. I know it
Right.
sounds silly, but I guess I internalized you can do hard things. And so all year long, and even at the beginning of this year, like I can freelance full time. I can do hard things. And I know I can because, I did all this, all this working out. Like working out is hard. It's not,
Very hard. You're right. Absolutely right.
it's supposed to be. But I guess I really internalized like you can do hard things when you want to. And so that's kind of been the thing that I've been holding on to. But I would tell someone that's like starting out freelancing, just do it. Like make a plan and don't worry about what other people are going to think. Just do it. Um, because that's kind of one thing that held me back in like 2017 whenever I started like cold pitching companies and advertising my services. That was not a thing I wanted to do because in
Right.
my mind it was like I'm bothering someone else.
Right.
Um, but if you don't just do the thing, no one's gonna know that, hey, I'm out here ready to write for you without, going and talking to people. So just
Right.
just do it. Just do the hard thing.
I like that. Just do the hard thing. That's pretty good advice. I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? So, if this is something that you passionately want to do and write about, find out what your niche is of writing, and then yeah, just go for it. I know for me personally, I wanted to be a math teacher. I love kids, and I wanted to infect them as teaching as well. But then when they told me that I had to take calculus, I said, "Oh hell no, can't do that. I'm not going to pass that very well. I'm not going to be able to do that very well." So I switched up to journalism. But I wanted to write about stuff I wanted to write about. I didn't want to write about Moby Dick or Harry Potter. I mean, that's cool to read. I just didn't want to write about it.
Right.
So I wanted to do sports or entertainment or stuff like that. So just find your niche and like you said, just go for it. So I definitely agree with that advice for sure. Um,
I cannot blame you though about calculus. Like that, I don't hold that against you.
oh
I had
no,
to
thank
take
you.
that for my program, and I swear it did not make sense until they like applied it to real world situations. When
Mhm.
they're just showing me how a proof is done, doesn't make sense to me. No, so I get that.
Done. I was done after the first week. I wanted to see how it was, but they said I had to take calculus, and I'm like, nah, that's a drop ad. So I dropped that real quick, and I had to relocate my BS bachelor's in science, and I got it in journalism. So I think I made the right choice. So I'm very happy for sure, for sure. Now we come to the portion of it to where Cassie, I need you to name two other people that would be absolutely great to come on this show and talk about their why and talk about their love and what they do.
I have connected with another former teacher slash freelance writer. She's a copywriter now. Her name is Jacqueline Kirby. She recently wrote a book. I mean, it's right here. Teachers are humans too, where she talks about um, starting teaching in COVID and then how she landed on not really wanting to do that, but she did it anyway for her kids and then started doing copywriting because that's what she wanted to do. So I would suggest absolutely talking to her. Um,
Okay.
and then I have another freelance writer friend named Dan Mattia. Um, he would be an interesting one to talk to for sure. Just the
Okay.
advice. He has been super helpful the last, gosh, I don't know, 6, 7 years I've been doing this. He's been a great resource.
I love it. And listen, you are an absolute pleasure to talk to. Wonderful smile, wonderful energy, wonderful positivity and aura about you, candidness. I feel like I've learned quite a bit about you. Wow, doing a half marathon this year upcoming. Hopefully, no hips and nothing breaks. I'm praying that you get that in, no question. I know you've been training for that. Obviously, was a Spanish teacher, freelance writer, do a lot of tech writing, which is great. Graduated with a master's and a bachelor's, which is awesome. A boneless wing eater, gluten free, and a badminton player, which is great because I love the sport badminton. So that's awesome. It's been an absolute pleasure once again talking to you, Cassie, on my Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. As I always do, is there anything else you would like to add about yourself before we conclude?
Um, maybe a good spot to put in that I'm starting a blog for other teachers that want to be freelance writers. I know there's several people looking to change careers and for good reason, like I get it. So I've started a blog. It's teacher to freelancewriter.com. There's not a whole lot of content there yet, but it will be.
And again, if there is a question that I did not come up with or ask that you want to ask Cassie, she is on LinkedIn. That's how I found her. So you could definitely find her on there. You can watch this video once it's posted to LinkedIn, my site as well. And then you can also reach out to her. And you may have a different question and you may want to talk to her about something else. But like I said, she is a delight to talk to. And thank you for coming on to my Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. You enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we will definitely be in touch.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No doubt. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye bye.